Hello, today I'm going to give you a speech on the different ways Italy and America have cultural differences. So, have you ever experienced an awkward situation with someone who's from a different culture or a different country, and it's just a little weird because you guys don't communicate the same way and maybe you weren't raised the same way? So I have visited Italy myself twice, and the cultural differences are major. I did a lot of research on the Cultural Atlas, copyright 2021. If you're wanting to visit Italy, I would definitely pay attention because these tips will really help you when you get there. So first I'm just going to talk to you about the differences between how Americans greet each other and how Italians greet each other. And then I'm going to talk about the loudness because it is true. Italians are very loud, very vocal, and that's very different from Americans. And lastly, I'm going to talk to you about the cultural differences that you'd experience daily if you were in Italy. So, in the US, we say like hello or nod at someone when we're greeting somebody, right? Or just like a simple smile if you see them passing on the street, or if you're meeting someone a little more formally, you'll give them a handshake, or if you're closer to them, you'll give them a hug. This really varies on someone's personality more than anything else, because if you're grown up in America, you might be more reserved and like your personal space, especially in COVID times. So when I was in Italy, many people greeted me with 2 kisses on the cheek. Kiss me once on the side, the next, and then repeat. And I had never even met these people before, and they were kissing me. So it was a little awkward for me. And Italians don't do handshakes. That's something that's really different. They will say hello and smile, but no handshakes. Also in Italy, when they're going to kiss, it's in France, it's a lot different. Like I think it's 3 kisses on each cheek, but in Italy, it's 2 and then 2. And then, like I said, America, if it's more formal, you'll just shake someone's hand, the right hand. You guys all know this. So my second point is the way that we talk to each other in America and the way that Italians talk to each other. So Americans are very direct when communicating, but they like their personal space. And I notice that in social settings all the time, especially when you're at something professional or more businessy. People are quiet and reserved, and they'll give you a handshake, but they're not very loud, but they're very direct about what they're trying to get across. Italians are the same way in that sense. They're also direct communicators, but most of them are very enthusiastic and loud, and it seems to more or less be a cultural difference, not even a personality thing. I'm sure there are Italians that are quiet and reserved, but for my experience, I met a lot of very loud and enthusiastic Italians. But usually their loudness, they usually aren't very loud and sometimes miss out on humor and physical communication cues, which is kind of not American at all. We pick up on social cues very well. Physical cues, we pick up on those very well, but Italians, not so much. They don't pick up on that and they'll get in your personal space. Also, Italians are strong believers in humor, and also so are Americans. But we seem to pick up on social cues a lot better than they do. We're usually closer when meeting each other, like in proximity. So lastly, I'm just going to talk to you about the experiences that you'd have on the daily if you were in Italy compared to in America. So the first thing is when you're going out to a restaurant in America, you tip. That's standard. 20% is for a good waitress, or waiter. And that's just normalized. That's what you do. And you're rude if you don't. But in Italy, you don't tip the server. It's automatically put in your bill. So they already put it in there as you're paying. So it's not an extra step because it's just expected. And in America, It's more of an option on ranking of how well you did, but in Italy, it's exactly the same every single time. Another thing is Americans are very fast-paced. Sorry, my battery was about to die. Excuse me. Time is money is a very common saying in America. We're very fast-paced. We are always on the move. We're always, we're not as family-oriented either, because we get fast food. Like, that's a very Americanized thing. Burger King, McDonald's, it's American. But in Italy, it's not that way. We usually eat dinner in America around 6 o'clock. 5 to 6 is standard dinner time. And it's not like always American culture to sit at the dining table and eat together. A lot of Americans will have TV dinners or sit on their couch, and no shame, but it's just not how Italians do it. Italians usually eat way later. They take their time cooking, they cook together as a family, they sit at the table and they enjoy their meal. Also, I noticed like we would eat lunch, but we wouldn't start eating again until 8 o'clock, and that was standard dinner time. They spend at least an hour before making the meal just hanging out with each other, drinking wine. And that's another thing that's different in America and Italy is alcohol in Italy is not taboo at all. Like, children will have alcohol, 14-year-olds will have a glass of wine with their parents. So there's no taboo about it, which in America, it's very obvious that there is. So to sum it all up, I just want to give you the last 3 points. I just want to summarize what I talked about. So America versus Italy. First, we talked about how greeting each other is very different. And then the proximity and loudness of Italians versus Americans is also a major difference. So the last thing that I talked about was the experiences that you'd have on a daily basis in the US compared to Italy. So I just want you to keep this in mind if you're ever going to Italy, that these cultural differences will make it easier if you can understand how to adapt a little better. It'll help you make friends and better relationships. I got all of my information from the Cultural Atlas, and it was very helpful and a very good source. So thank you very much for listening to my speech, and have a good night. Bye.